I'm Tony Benson,
I'm Mr.JT,
and welcome to my Dalmatian Street episode reviews, where me and a guest will review the episodes of Dalmatian Street. Although the show may be for families, my reviews may contain strong language and other stuff, so viewer discretion is advised. And today we are reviewing the episode London We Have a Problem Part 2. Recapping the last part, Dylan gets a new space helmet. Dorothy ends up running off to where Hunter is. Hunter shows Dylan how to tune out his family with complete and other noise cancellation and other stuff. And in part 2 is actually going to have a lot more stuff. And I will say that in my thoughts. So, Mr. JT, what are your thoughts on part 2?
Part 2 picks up and is more exciting than Part 1, obviously. I guess the end of the last and the beginning of this episode is the whole setup, but I feel like it could have differentiated itself better than similar style episodes from other shows. Also, like Tony said, the Triple D's farting in Dylan's helmet is repulsive.
So my thoughts on London We Have a Problem Part 2, they find out Dorothy's okay. Dylan goes after it, but Dolly's got a problem or something, so she thinks something's shady. She follows them. They leave Dawkins in charge, and Dawkins it always gets tackled by his siblings, and he's like, kibbles. Dylan found Dorothy, and then you got Hunter in the shadows, and he's like, yeah, he's up to no good. Dorothy knows he's a bad guy. Dylan, has no idea. Dorothy's like, will you turn around and check out all the crates for our, family as prisoners? He turns around and is like, there's nothing there. And then Dorothy has that look like, are you serious? He's like, he's bribing you. I know he gives him food, gives Dylan a spin on a G-Force machine. I'm like, yes, we get Hunter is rich. Of course, Dolly tries to get through the front door, but no. So she gets on one of those little pull thingies, what people use to clean windows, that little rig that they use to pull themselves up and stand on while pulling it down. Dorothy just keeps trying to tell his brother that he is not a good guy. And Hunter's like, shut up. Dolly sees all of the plans and what's going to happen to them. Her great-great-great-grandfather, Pongo, and Pernita sees her great-great-great-grandparents. Dylan rides it back in his limo while Dolly tries to chase him down, and he's living life. He's in the back seat with the bags of kibble and treats, laying down. And when any of those characters are laying down in that position, it looks like they're fat. Dolly's chasing them down. He literally just knocks Dylan right through the door and says, whatever you do, do not open that door. Hunter is a bad guy. And he's like, no, Hunter's great. And then he pulls out this giant red tube with a vacuum and is like, I have made a big mistake. Dawkins, of course, has to be nerdy and says the percentage of a human not being within the house and then getting sucked in and not giving a damn, being the first one sucked into a giant red tube. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I'm telling Mom, and I'm like, good. I know they won't get in trouble, but at least they'll be notified. And then he just literally starts sucking everybody in. He gets trampled by all those chew toys, and I'm like, the avalanche of chew toys did not stop him. And then everybody was alerted and is like, oh, frick. Now we know this guy's up to no good. Delgado literally risking for his life. Deepak gets sucked through. Dante does nothing, hides in the corner and says, Doomsday has arrived. Congratulations, Dante. You have predicted Doomsday. But he said on a Tuesday. I'm like, even though dogs don't know days, back in part 1, it was clear that Dylan said it was, but it's the weekends. It's a Saturday, not a Tuesday. Okay, you dogs have intelligence of a human. I think you can tell days. I don't know what was going through your mind, Dante, but you had the days mixed up. You know, he's coming around, and when he goes through that little doggy door, and it's like The Shining, like The Shining. It's got a shining light because like here's Hunter, like here's Johnny, and I never saw it, but I know the reference. And he's just sucking family members one by one. You know, Dylan tries to use his helmet to block it out. He's trying to think of many ways to save his family. You know, the one thing that got the tube to break, trap Hunter in the crate to ship off to Switzerland, was a trigger word dinner, and they all broke free. Then the parents come back, they smell some things, and they know it's a DeVille. And now you can leak this out, that Hunter is a relative and part of the DeVille family like Cruella. He is in some way, related to Cruella DeVille, and she comes along like in the finale. So yeah, change anything about the second part of London We Have a Problem? I don't think I would. The whole Dylan being lazy, thought he could trust Hunter, the fact that they got free, Hunter being shipped, and of course the pieces coming together that the DeVilles are literally going to track them down and, you know, turn them into fur coats. And that's going to make a lot more sense later down in the season, because I'm not giving away too much. So I wouldn't change anything. I think the whole Dylan being bribed thing sounds like him. I know he's smart, but when it comes to being bribed with science and food, it's just... yeah, and also seeing the plans and the Dolly seeing her great-great-great-grandparents, it just literally puts everything in perspective from the first generation and the second generation. Mr. JT, would you change anything about London We Have a Problem Part 2?
Again, I would change some of the more cliche aspects of the whole two-parter. But I did like the nod to the classic 101 Dalmatians film from 1961, and the ending to this episode is pretty heartwarming.
Alright, we are at the ratings, 0 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. I gave the first part an 8 out of 10. I'm also going to give this one an 8 out of 10 because it really gets an incredible climax. And also, it reveals that the DeVilles are coming. Hunter works for Cruella, is related to Cruella in a way, and I don't want to give out too much, so I'm going to wait until future episodes. But he gets shipped off to Switzerland. They know they got to prepare and stuff, so 8 out of 10. What would you rate this episode or part 2, Mr. JT?
I would give part 2 a 9.4 out of 10. It's a little higher than part 1 because it's more exciting and actiony.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Before I continue, Mr.Magistral Malik will not be continuing on with the review series because a lot has been going on in his life, so he won't be able to continue. In the description, I would like to ask that you not say anything in the comments about it. And yes, the comments will be held for reviews because one woman was a little inappropriate in a couple of them, and I did remove it. And I don't like that little text thing that I have in those little like text with a color background before the video. I am very, very serious about that. Alright? I'm pretty sure I don't have dislikes because of that. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Magistral Malik, for all of the reviews that you've been in. Also, don't forget to check him and KennyTag. KennyTag, formerly known as Flash Photo. Check out both their Twitches in the description and their YouTube channels. And KennyTag, if I am saying this correctly, and if my knowledge is correctly, you did tell me that you take your Twitch streams and upload them to your YouTube channel. If this is wrong, please correct me in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out my other channel, The Furry Gamer. I got another Super Cop video, which is a Rockstar editor video. The trailer is in production, and then I have to edit some former parts, so it's in parts, so I gotta edit some music, some sound effects, and some other stuff, so that's down the road. I don't usually upload that many videos to my gaming channel. I'm mostly focused on the one that you're watching this video in, Tony Benson's VA and More Studios, which brings me to my other point. If you have a project for an adult male that you have that's open for audition, or you would like to hear some voice demos or samples and need someone to voice that character, please comment below. Also, I have some more GarageBand songs on the way, so I might be thinking about that. Also, I have a new series that I would like to try on this channel called Tony Benson's Thoughts On. Now, this is not movies or shows, so they're going to be completely separate reviews. This is going to review businesses, items, products, food, snacks, and even YouTube channels. If you've got a YouTube channel you would like me to review for my Tony Benson Thoughts On series, please post it in the comment section below. I would like to thank Mr.JT for being in both parts and sharing his thoughts and stuff. I don't think he's going to be in any other except for the summary of season 1 after the first season, after the season finale. If he is going to be in any other episodes and would like to review, he will tell me, or if he's listening to this, please tell me in the comment section below. Also to Hiro Yoshi, he is actually getting a Bluetooth headset for his Bluetooth PC because it does not take AUX, an axle cord. It doesn't take that. So if he's listening, he will, and if I get this right, he may or may not be in other reviews, but if he is, you will see him back in those. If not, in this 2-part summary, because I plan to have a 2-part summary. Alright guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. The next episode review, and this will feature KennyTag, because like I said in the other one, he will be in It's My Party, which is coming up next. He will be in that one, and the other ones, I hope. So we will see. It's another Triple D episode, so I'm going to literally express myself in the best way, and I do add a lot of really good details. And even though I may forget some parts of the episode, I still have a really good detail. So yeah. Anyways, here is a promo announcement from Mr. JT. Mr. JT, take it away after the bow wows.
Bow wacka wow.
Bow wacka wow.
My Twitter is @JTBlue24.